Hi, guys, and welcome. My name is Dr. Nanette K. Hartley, but I prefer Nan. I wanted to welcome you to our online course for this term. This is Chem 110, Section W04, and this is an entirely online course. Now, I wanted to walk you through a couple of things about this particular class so that we have all of our information in the right places and all of our ducks in a row, even though my ducks don't tend to be ducks, they tend to be squirrels, and they're never in a row, but that's beside the point. So some things I wanted to show you. This is your shelf, and a couple of things. First is to start here. So the first thing I'm going to start here is your checklist. So I'm going to go ahead and open that checklist. And on your checklist, you'll find some information about me, who I am, how you can get a hold of me. You'll see my availability. And this is when I'm on campus and when I'm generally available. So I'm on campus Monday and Wednesday, 1 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. I have office hours 1 to 3 p.m. on Monday, 1 to 6 p.m. on Wednesday. I am available 7 to 5 p.m. remote on Tuesday. I am not on campus. I work Thursdays 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Friday 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. I also have an office hour 7 to 8 a.m. on Friday. I'm available outside of those times. So if you need me outside of those times, let me know. I am doing prep for this course 7 to 3 on Tuesdays. So I am busy doing stuff for you guys on Tuesdays. I am in class 6 to 9 p.m. Monday and Wednesday. And I'm also in class from 3 to 6 p.m. on Monday and from 8 to 11 on Thursday. So those are times that I'm actually in class for my class. So those are my availabilities and when I have office hours and things like that. That's that. I will have this introductory video posted, linked. We have a department syllabus. The important thing about the department syllabus, a couple of things that I wanted to point out to you. This is all the stuff that you're going to be learning this term that you're responsible for. Two things about our grading. One, our scale goes from 91 to 100, not 90 to 100. So it's not the zeros to the zeros. It's the, like 81 to 90 for B. And our grading scale. So final exam is 20%, classroom tests are 35, homework in ALEX is 20%, and the laboratory component consists of 25%. Now, is there a physical lab? No. There is an electronic lab. All of your stuff will be done in ALEX. And I will show you where that is and how that's accessed and what you need to do in a few minutes. Okay, so that is all done in ALEX. So there is no component where you need to be on campus. I understand that some people read this as if that were the case, but that is not the case. Okay. You need to be civil in class. If you're going to be enrolled in 111, there are things that you need to carry with that. And I realize that this schedule that's right here says in person. I apologize for that. There is a lab schedule for you guys that I will show you in a few minutes. Right. This is all the material that we will cover. And these are the chapters in the textbook and the sections that will be covered with that. Now, I will show you those again in just a second. We have a syllabus addendum. The syllabus addendum is specific to me as your instructor. This lists you all of the information I give you about, hey, how do we do this? What happens? That kind of stuff. So in addition to the graded ALEX homework, I give you additional homework in D12. I provide you with 15 questions per topic. Then there are worked out examples with that. Those are AI generated. Yes, they are, but that is all done, with my hands involved, all of that stuff. So that is stuff you can definitely look at, right? You need to work on these labs. Labs are a very important part of what you do for this particular course. So there is a lab, there's a post-lab quiz, and there is a survey for each lab. So you'll need to do the surveys after each lab as well. So the actual due dates are in ALEX. Late labs are accepted at a 20% penalty per work day. So within a week, there is no grade for that. Now there are post-lab quizzes that goes with each of these. You need to take notes while you're doing those labs, because if you don't, you won't do well on those quizzes. If you take notes, you'll do very well on those quizzes. And it's an open note quiz. So even though it's a timed quiz, there is no reason that you cannot use your notes to do that. Okay, so make sure that you are aware of that. Your exams are given to you on D2L. It is a 2-day window in which you are expected to take those. You cannot have anything except your calculator, which cannot connect to the internet, and your exam handouts. And I will show you those in just a minute, right? There are reviews that you will be given in D2L and also in ALEX. There are reviews in both places. There is no extra credit. Now there are opportunities for some mixed points. So I do give 110 points worth of stuff on the test, but it's only worth 100 points. So there are some points available on the test if you earn them. I do have office hours, as I stated, and these are all of the things that are graded. Okay, so there are some discussion points available to you. So, and we will discuss that as well. So that's your syllabus addendum. Here is the schedule for this particular course, and this is specific to your particular class. So here you'll see the date, the lecture number, the topic for that lecture, the chapter and sections that are involved. This is exactly the same as what you saw on the syllabus. And then the review, the part in ALEX that goes with that. And then you'll see 2 due dates that go with that. Now, for instance, on the 15th of October, the first day of class, I will be talking about the introductions, the lab introduction, the units of measure, and matter. Okay, that is chapter 1, sections 3 through 6, and sections 7 through 9. And that will be units of measure and matter in ALEX. That is recommended to be done on the 17th. That's what this black due date, that's the recommended due date. That's to keep you on track. If you don't work on that before you work on the next thing, then you're going to have problems working on the next thing. The actual due date, when it cuts off, is the 29th of October. That is 2 days before the first exam. So don't ask me for extensions. I will not grant them. You are given those due dates because I don't want you to cram for the exams. So your homeworks and the practice for the exams are due 2 days before the exams. Okay, that is to prepare you for those exams. The first exam is the 31st of October to the 2nd of November. Okay, it covers lectures 1 through 6. Notice that I recommend that you do lecture 7 first. There's a reason for that. Okay, there's always a reason that I recommend that you go to the next one. All right, so please make sure that you do that. Doing the stoichiometry before you do the test is going to help you enormously with doing the test. The same thing will be true when we get to the second exam. Okay, so make sure that you're keeping up with things. Do not wait until the last minute to do all of the homework. It will take you a very long time to do it. If you do it as you go, it will be much easier to manage. Okay, so there is that. I think that's everything about the schedule. All of your lab stuff is in gray. This is all the stuff you have to do for the lab. Stuff that's in the assignments, so under the assignments, you will see in there as well. So it'll say like names and formulas. You can't click this yet because it's not available yet. So that's why you can't click it yet, but that's what you have. So names and formulas is there. There'll be safety rules that you need to do, and there'll be a Flynn Pavo thing that you have to turn in as well. I need to put that in there. I apologize. Now, I know it's a little obsessive for us to make you do the safety portions when you're not actually in the physical lab, but the expectation is that you will know what it means to be working in a lab, even though you didn't actually work in a lab. So we need to make sure that you have dealt with that. Now notice that this stoichiometry has no points associated with it here. You need to turn in the work here, but you will actually do the numerical entry in ALEX. That's where it will be graded. Here, I just want to see the actual scratch work that goes with it. I need to see both. So make sure you turn in both. Okay. These are the discussions for each of those labs. Okay. And I want to see something turned in for each of those. And I will talk about that in just a second. So there, here's a copy of the lab manual. If you want to look at it, it is loosely related to all of the materials that you're going to be doing in ALEX. There are some resources about what the technology requirements are and some student resources that are available to you. These are your exam handouts. These exam handouts are what you need to have for the test. You need a printed copy of these exam handouts. There needs to be nothing written on them, and you need to show them to the screen when you start that test during the environment check. If you don't, that is a violation of the misconduct rules. Okay, so that's a reason for you to be reported for misconduct. So you need to show that. Okay, I need to see it. All right. So these handouts you will need to use. Understand that there is a violation for you to use any value that is not on these handouts. So any value, be it an abbreviation of R that's not exactly as written here, be it some other value for F, whatever, it doesn't matter. If it's not the value that's on here, it's a violation. You need to use these values. Okay. So make sure that you understand that. And there needs to be a clean version of this every time you take a test. And it needs to be printed out. You cannot have this on screen. Okay. That's the exam handouts. Now, you need to sign up for ALEX. Now, I can't show you ALEX from here directly. So I need to go through a slightly different system because I can't show you as a student how to get in there. It doesn't connect the right way. So what I need to do is come in here and get into your course. I apologize for this. Now, when I'm in your course, now I can do a student view. And so once you've signed up for ALEX, this will take you in here. And you will see all of this wonderful stuff. And you'll need to do the tooltips. So it'll tell you how to work in here. Now, it does tell you that it will figure out what you know already. We don't use it that way. So there is a tools tutorial. Make sure you do that. Okay, it is very important that you learn how to use the tools. I've done this, so I'm going to skip this. Make sure you do it. Now, the next thing is that there's a knowledge check. This knowledge check is meant to check your knowledge of math. So please do it. Okay. Now, I am allowed, as an instructor, to skip this. This thing that it shows you here is called a pie progress. Do not worry about this. Now you will see a pie progress grade in your grade book. That grade is not based on this. It's based on the assignments that I give you and how many of them you complete. If you complete them all, then you get 100%. Okay. So there's a pie progress. That's just based on how many of them you completed. There's a total score that's based on the average of the scores for everything you got in ALEX. This is not what you should be working on. This path, not what you should be concerned about. Over here, you'll see that there's a little main menu. If you click this, you'll see two things that are important to you. One is the textbook. If you click that and click the ebook, this will bring up the textbook. And it said chapter 1, sections 1 through 3, and then 7 through 9. So those are the sections. You can click into any of those sections and read the text. I highly recommend that you do that. Okay. I know that you don't have a lot of time, but I highly recommend that you read that text and that you do it before you look at the lecture. I find that it's very, very helpful. The other thing you need is the assignments. So if you click on the assignments, this will show you everything that you need to do for this grade. What you'll find under each exam is the homework that goes with it, and then a practice test. It's just practice. Your tests themselves will be in D2L. So this practice test will give you some idea of what you might see on the actual exam. Okay? And you have multiple tests that you can have for this test. If you want me to help you with something, so if you've done something and you don't understand it, you need to turn it in so that I can see what you did. Okay, so you have 10 opportunities to do this practice, right? There's homework for each one of these. That homework is available to you, all right? The due dates that are here should be consistent with what you see in the syllabus, in the schedule. If they're not, tell me, all right? If the due date here is later, you get to keep that. If the due date in the schedule is later, I need to fix it. Okay? So that's what you should be able to see. Now, in addition, you'll see the virtual labs and the virtual post labs. And you'll see that the post labs for almost everything are locked. That's because you have to do the lab before you can do the post lab. You have to do the lab first. And you'll see that most of the labs are locked. And that's because you have to do the first lab before you can do the second lab. There are expectations for what you've learned in the labs before when you move forward. So understand that you need to have done them in order. Okay, so those labs are locked that way. So make sure that you're addressing those in a timely fashion. This post-lab stoichiometry is based on that assignment that exists in D2L. You'll do the work and then turn in your numbers here. Okay, so that's everything about ALEKS and the information that is there. Now, so let me get out of that. That. So that's all of your ALEKS stuff. Now, under your tour of the site, you have exam information, you have your labs and your post labs, the surveys that go with them. Notice that it asks you, once you've done those surveys, to take a screenshot of the submission that you've done. So it says mass and volume determination, responses, one of, and then that screenshot should get turned in under the assignments that we looked at before. So under assignments, when we talked about those surveys. So these surveys, this is where you will turn that in. Now, if you don't turn that in, what's going to happen is that on the date that it's due, it will automatically give you a 0. If it's there, it will wait for me to grade it. So I can go ahead and give you 100 because I've seen that you already did it. Okay, that's easy. If you don't do it that way, I will have to go back later and ascertain that you actually did it and take care of it later. Okay, I cannot guarantee when I can do that because you haven't done me the courtesy of doing what I asked you to do. So I'll get to it when I get to it. Okay. So there's that. Now, that's that part. Now, you have some assignments that you need to do by the 19th. You need to do the lockdown browser test. You need to do the acknowledgement activity, the scavenger hunt, the sign up for ALEKS, and the safety quiz, right? And you'll also need to do the Flynn Pavo sign up. All right. Now, if we go and try to tour the site at this point, let's go to, I'm going to close this. I'm going to come out here. I'm going to go content and try and look at what's underneath each of those sections. Look, oh, I can see it. Okay, so good. I'm glad I can see it. All right, so I can see everything that's here. Now notice there's a PowerPoint for each of these, and there's a question related to each one, and the answers that go with that. So worked out answers for how you do each of those questions. Okay, so there's everything that you need for this. Now, Each one of these has information about what you need. This is the Alex Lab lecture guide. So this has little videos about what you might run into with each of those labs. Feel free to watch these. You don't have to. Okay, you can if you want to. I do talk about some of the things that you'll run into that are kind of problematic. Okay, so if you want to watch that, go ahead. If you don't, that's okay too. It's entirely up to you. In here, you will see links to all of the labs. Here you will have links to all of the post labs. Right? But again, they will be locked unless you have done everything that you need to do before that. All right. So I think that's everything that you need to know. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to talk about. So if you have any questions, comments, problems, whatever, if you have questions about the lectures, tell me, send me an email, say, hey, I have a question about this. Give me an approximate time frame for where it is so that I can go and review the video, and I'll be happy to answer that. I'm more than happy to meet with any of you about anything that you want to talk about. Okay, anything. And if one of those times that's available for my office hours doesn't work for you, let me know. I can make time outside of that. I just need to know that you need it. Okay, so hopefully that will take you through everything that you need. If you need anything from me, please let me know, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Good luck.